Today I'm starting off with the P.Louise base in the shade Rumour 5, and I'm going to blend that all over the lid from the eyebrow all the way down to the lash line. This is what I'm using as my base today for these Melt Cosmetics super pigmented eyeshadows. Now I'm going in with NYX Blame It on Midnight, and I'm going to set the base because I'm concerned about these really pigmented matte shadows blending out. So I'm going to set the base from the brow to the crease in the hopes that this will make the blending of the matte shadows better. Now I'm going into the palette and I'm taking Idole and I'm going to place that all over the lid. Now this is a shadow that faded quickly and consistently and constantly, and throughout the look I had to go back in and continue to touch up this eyeshadow because it would just fade away. Even when it got down to the final look, I had to go back in before I did the final look to show you and keep touching it up. When I went to take pictures, I had to touch it up. So this didn't wear very well. So you might want to use a stickier base or primer if you're going to use this eyeshadow. Going back into the palette, and I'm taking Agua Ardiente, and I'm going to place that halfway in the crease and on the outer V area. I didn't swatch these shadows before I started to use them, and I wish I had because I was expecting this look to turn out more brown. I thought this was more of a brown shade, and it's more of a green. It's definitely got some dark army green to it, so that's not what I was expecting. And yeah, I wish I had swatched this first because then my expectations at least would have been better. So I'm just blending it, and as you can see, it's not very difficult at all to blend this shadow. Back into the palette, and I'm taking Chocolate, and I'm going to place that on the outer V area and the outer corner of the lid, and I'm trying to keep it low. I don't want to bring it too much into the crease, and I'm just going to blend that out using circular motions. And this shadow is a little more of what I was expecting in terms of color, a little more brown, and just it didn't adhere though, so I had to keep tapping it and on and not blending it, just tapping it, because otherwise it blended away. And that can be the issue with some of the melt eyeshadows in my experience. The very pigmented mattes can be difficult to, I find sometimes won't adhere to the skin. So I'm just going back in with the previous shade and blending, and you can see where that last shadow is just not, it's very patchy and it's not adhering to my eyelid. So again, I'm just tapping it on. I could have gone in with more base or a primer and make it sticky and try to get it to stick a little better. And here I am touching up that first shade on the lid because again, it just really faded away as I was working on this eye look, and I had to continually go back in with this shade to touch it up and make it more pigmented and more vibrant. And again, just trying to tap rather than blend because I kept blending away that outer V shade on the outer lid. And now, oh, that's the fallout. That's the kick up from these shadows, very powdery. And it seems like the darker the eyeshadow, the more powdery, the more kick up you have in these melt palettes. Now I'm just going to take those shades that I use in the crease and I'm going to place them on the lower lash line. And I didn't have any problems with them adhering onto the lower lash line like I did on the outer V area. And then going back in with that really light beige shade on the lid and making sure to blend that in with the dark shade on the outer lash line. This is the Milk Makeup eyeliner in the shade BCC, which is just like this neutral beige shade. And this is the final look. Just, not crazy about how it turned out, not crazy about the color, and not crazy about how some of those matte shadows performed. You let me know how you feel about this look. I wasn't crazy about it. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing because I do tutorials, makeup haul swatches, and reviews here every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.